My camera has to go in for repairs, so I'm shooting this at the very last minute on very little sleep. I'm sure this video is gonna go tremendously.
Hey, come on! Call ES.
Hey, what is up everybody and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be talking about my top 10 Digimon who deserve to be Digimon partners. While it is far from essential that a Digimon becomes a partner, it is one of the coolest, most intriguing parts of the Digimon franchise, apart from Frontier, I guess, where they become the Digimon. But it is a tenet of Digimon right back to the V-Tamers manga, back to the V-Pets, that you are forming a bond with a Digimon that becomes your partner. Taichi and Zeromaru, Tai and Agumon, Davis and Vmon, Marcus and Agumon. There's a lot of Agumon partners, huh? And there are just some Digimon who are begging to be partners, who would look perfect on an advertisement for the anime, but yet have yet to be used in the anime as a full-on partner. Some of these may have been partners in things like Cross Wars or side media, but I am talking about full-on, on the box art for an anime, on Crunchyroll, on TV Asahi, airing on TV, a full-on prominent Digimon partner with a toy line, please. First of all, I do want to give some honorable mentions to Kabuterimon, Jazzamon, and Vovomon. Kabuterimon is a really cool Digimon from Digimon Next, which is kind of like a Kabuterimon version of Tentomon. It's this really cool beetle rookie, but it just digivolves into Kuwagumon and then Okuamon and stuff. It doesn't really have anything cooler from Kabuterimon that would make it interesting as a partner. When I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for a really good, viable rookie that looks like it belongs on promotional material, but also has a through line of Digivolution that I think would work in a show. Not necessarily as a Gogglehead as the main character's partner, but a partner for a main character in the show. And that's why I've got to disqualify Kabuterimon, and the same with Vovomon and Jazzamon. They were really presented and created to be full through line Digivolutions, but they're just a little bit too, not edgy, but edgy. A little bit too edgy, a little bit too crazy, I think, to be anime partners, definitely. Maybe manga partners, you could get away with it, but they're definitely more kind of video gamey in my eyes. So that's a shout out to those guys anyway. Moving on, number 10. In at number 10 is Lylemon. Lylemon? However you may pronounce it, I just think it would be perfect as someone's Digimon partner. It has that classic rookie look that you would see throughout the franchise, obviously apart from Frontier, although even Strabimon and Flamemon kind of have that rookie vibe too. The big eyes, the emotive expressions. It's fierce, but it also could be very cute if it was drawn that way. It would be a nice kind of homage to the holy Digimon like Gatomon because it has the holy ring around its neck as a collar. I think that would be really good as a partner, either for a protagonist or a kind of TK and Kari type character. And it also has a really cool Digivolution line. Obviously you can digivolve into a few things, but it's kind of intended Digivolution line being Leelmon to Lyamon to Loda Lyomon. Keep changing up those vowels. And then from there you can go from Bancho Leomon, or what I would choose, which is Baihumon, which of course is one of the 4 holy beasts, which would come full circle with Lylemon's design. Lylemon's also just been very prominent in the card game recently, so I think it would work really well, and now would be a good time to introduce it as a partner. Next up on our list is Hyokomon, a Digimon that I'm really surprised hasn't been used more prominently. It debuted in Digimon Story Lost Evolutions and then also featured in the Super Cross Wars games on DS, but it's literally just a Digimon designed for those games. It's not prominent, it's not a box art Digimon or anything like that. It's just a really cool samurai chick that wanders around trying to master swordsmanship. It's such a cool idea, such a good design. You could see this being in promotional material for a manga or anime. It literally pops out. Its design is so good. It has a wonderful in-training in the form of Chichimon, although no official baby form, but you could bullshit anyone you wanted there. And then the champion form, Baraimon, though it does kind of remind me of Garudamon, is so cool. I could definitely see a kind of supporting one of the Digi-Destined having Hyokomon. It would work so perfectly. I could see maybe a male tamer who has the crest of love having a Hyokomon. I think that would be really cool and kind of progressive for Digimon. Love always seems to get saddled with girls because girls love love. I think Hyokomon to Baraimon to Butenmon would look so cool, especially if they did one of those warp Digivolutions where you see each stage happen in one transformation. And then let's not forget its final stage can be Chronomon, which typically is part of a fusion with other Digimon, but you could totally do it by itself and it would work beautifully as a mega for that Digivolution line. But it could also go to Hoomon or Sleepmon if you were feeling a little bit less adventurous. Overall, just a really cool design that also we haven't seen since those Cross Wars games in any media, even like Rear Eyes. So it would make a ton of sense if we finally got a partner for Hyokomon. Please Bandai, if any Digimon you're going to do on this list, I think that makes the most sense logically for you. In at number 8 is Zubamon, and I'm really baffled once again that this hasn't been given a partner. I thought it would have been a natural idea to do a movie or a web series or something involving Zubamon. It showed up in Cyber Sleuth and obviously the version 20th VPET that it was designed for to celebrate the 20th anniversary, but I really think you could give Zubamon to a kind of Rio character. In fact, you could give it to Rio if you wanted and let Rio have 2 Digimon, wouldn't be the first time. It's got elements of Hackmon in there, which is kind of interesting, but I think it would be really cool to have this be partnered with a kind of dimension hopper or a time traveler like Rio. It's such a wonderful design. It's really, really cool. With the whole anniversary theme, it gives me big Kamen Rider Decade vibes, and you know I like Kamen Rider Decade, so I think that's really cool. And again, it would just make sense if they did maybe not a full season of the anime, but either a crossover character in the existing anime, or like I say, webisodes, one-offs, a movie, something like that, celebrating 20 years of Digimon with a brand new protagonist and their partner Zubamon. That's not to mention its baby form Sakumon and its adorable in training form Sakatomon. Can you really call something which is 2 knives adorable? Well, to me it's adorable. Have you seen this card of Sakatomon? It is adorable. And interestingly, Sakatomon can digivolve into Hackmon, so connection? And the Digivolution line just keeps getting better. From Zubamon we go to Zubaigamon, who goes to Duramon, who is absolutely awesome, to Durandmon, who just improves the design even more, and I also like his sword form, very reminiscent of like Soul Calibur or something like that. And then finally, combined with Braiwaludramon, we get Ragnalordmon, and that is just too good of an opportunity to pass up. If you have those parallel lines, Zubamon and the Ludamon line, maybe as partners of 2 different tamers or sharing partnership with one tamer, finally coming together into Ragnalordmon, that would be so cool. Admittedly, Ludamon himself is kind of goofy looking, but his Digivolutions are a lot better. But yeah, it'd be so cool to see Zubamon get a real prominent feature in the rest of the franchise, and now it is featured so prominently in the card game with Sakatomon, Zubamon, all the way through that Digivolution line. You know it makes sense, Toei. You know it makes sense, Bandai. Make him a partner, because I said so. In at number 7 on the list is Spartamon, and this one just makes a bunch of sense to me. There's not a whole lot to be said here, but Spartamon debuted in Cross Wars. Well, technically it debuted in the card game, but shut up. It debuted properly in Cross Wars. And ostensibly it was just a legend arm, so it was just a weapon that could be used by other Digimon, which is disappointing because it's got such a great design. It's been recently featured pretty prominently in the Digimon Adventure 2020 anime, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb for all the best reasons, not bad ones. It looks like it should be a partner. It's got such an original design, such a memorable design. I could easily pick out Spartamon as one of my favourite recent Digimon, but so far the fact that its only Digivolutions are as part of Shoutmon and it really gets lost in that whole thing is hugely disappointing. I like the look of the Shoutmon forms. Admittedly, I have a problem with the naming convention, but that's for a different video. I just wish, obviously outside of the canon of Cross Wars, in new canon, they could give it something proper, a kind of Leomon equivalent for Spartamon. It's potentially implied in the new adventure that Spartamon can digivolve to Leomon. It's not necessarily true, but we have Leomon commanding a bunch of Spartamon and admittedly Peckmon, so it could be that these Spartamon will eventually become Leomon. You can see actually in other Digivolutions of Leomon that he does get a white coat, like in Pangemon and Regulusmon, so it is definitely possible that's kind of a retrofitted Digivolution line, but I'd like to see a proper full through line for Spartamon and make him a partner at the same time. In at number 6 is a brand new Digimon, and we really don't know whether or not he will become a partner at this stage, but it's Pulsemon. Pulsemon is the mascot of the Digimon VB, or Vital Bracelet, which I have talked about a lot on this channel. I am super excited for the VB, and what's really unique about Pulsemon, obviously all Digimon digivolve into multiple paths, although like I say in the anime, they tend to go through one intended path line. You know, Agumon, Greymon, Metal Greymon, War Greymon, and so on. What's really cool about Pulsemon is though, while it does have branching evolution lines like most VPETs, the way you get those different evolutions isn't just through various methods of care, they're through how you exercise your own body. So if you run a lot, you get Runamon. If you work out a lot, you get Bulkmon. If you're very lazy, you get Namakemon. So I think even if it's not, again, a full anime season, even if it's like a 12-episode miniseries or online or something like that, I think it'd be really cool to see a Pulsemon that digivolves dynamically. Maybe in the early episodes the tamer is lazy, doesn't really believe Pulsemon is a Digimon, doesn't really get what it means to be a Digimon tamer, and ultimately Pulsemon digivolves into Namakemon. The tamer's freaked out, Namakemon's kind of crazy, he's strong but he's kind of all over the place and slothful. And so when consulted about it, Pulsemon maybe tells the tamer that, you know, I am tied to you, our hearts beat together. It would be such a perfect thematic element for the anime, it would just make a ton of sense. And the tamer starts caring, starts running, starts picking its battles wisely, and we get Runnermon, we get Bulkmon. Maybe there's an episode where we get Examon and he's like, you turned into a bug. There's lots of really good potential for both storylines, thematic elements, and comedy moments that would suit so well, but they probably won't do it because people won't stop saying, oh, it looks like Zero. So while I don't think it's probably gonna happen because the VB launches way before the current anime season ends, I still think Pulsemon and the whole gimmick of the VB would lend itself great to the anime. Plus it'd be cool to have like a wrist-mounted Digivice, you know? Next up on our list is Kotemon, and he ties into a couple of more entries on our list. Kotemon debuted in Digimon World 3 alongside Monmon and Bearmon. And this is just a personal aside, and again I'm assuming it was designed way after 02, but could there be a more perfect Digimon for Cody? Like, it's literally a Kendo Digimon, it'd be so good. It has a bunch of potential Digivolutions that I think would work really well for the anime. Personally, I would probably go with Yaxamon, though Musiamon is also a really good pick. From there you could go to Asuramon, Gaiomon, and maybe even further to like Volcanismon or Jesmon X Antibody. There's a bunch of things you could do with Kotemon, but again, it's one of these Digimon that was created in this kind of weird video game space, which has of course gone on to be in Frontier movies, in Cross Wars, tons of things across the franchise, but just feels like it was designed as a Digimon partner. I will talk about this more in the other entries, but you can just see it, right? Alongside Monmon and Bearmon, it would just work so well as a trio of tamers with these Digimon. And not to harp on too much, but yes, the next entry on our list is Monmon. And some people are going to say, why didn't you just put them all on one spot? First of all, there's actually not that many rookie Digimon who I believe would work well as partners, but also because they are their own Digimon. They deserve to be partners and not necessarily all at the same time or in the same medium. There's a bunch of ways you could Digivolve Monmon to make sense. I personally think you should Digivolve into Hanumon, and then maybe Makuramon, even though that's not typically a Digivolution of Hanumon. I just think it would make sense. Makuramon and Monmon look really similar, but you could also go with Gokumon, and then a Mega. There's not a ton of monkey Megas, though I think King Etamon might be kind of a fun Mega for Monmon to kind of feed into his cheeky monkey nature. Whichever way you slice the Digivolution lines, though, again, ultimately I think that Monmon just works so perfectly, and I just think would work really complementarily against sort of a fire type or a kind of more aggressive claw-based Digimon, again as a partner of a second in command or something in an anime season. Of course, it's Bearmon. Bearmon is such a good design. It screams partner Digimon, and actually, it now is one. Listen, I almost didn't include this, but again, I am talking more about anime and maybe manga in this list than just partners across the franchise, because a lot of Digimon are technically partners in Cross Wars and other side media and video games. There's a lot of Digimon who can become your partners in Digimon story games, for example. But I think Bearmon, of all the other Digimon that debuted in Digimon World 3, really deserves his time in the sun. It felt to me like for a while that Bearmon was almost being set up to be a protagonist Digimon. Maybe in Frontier, maybe in Savers before they tried to kind of bring it back and do an Agumon for Savers. The way they set up Bearmon for a while almost felt like he was a brand new mascot. Obviously Agumon is kind of the de facto mascot of the franchise, but we've had Vidramon as mascot, we've had Tyrannomon as a mascot, and it felt like Bearmon was going that way. His design is just so classic, it so works. It just has all the design influences that I want to see in a rookie. It's a nice simple design, it looks like it can fight, but also like it can love, like it can be a friend. It's friend-shaped. Its Digivolution into its champion form, Grizzlymon, just looks perfect. It would fit right alongside Greymon and the likes of those. And while I don't love any of its intended ultimates, them being Monzemon, Grappleomon, or Pandamon, you could 100% make a new ultimate, and then I definitely see Callistamon as a Mega. A kind of purified good version of Callistamon though, not the one from V-Tamer. And so yeah, the reason I think that Bearmon deserves to be a partner so much is because outside of all of them, I feel like he was intended to be one at some point, but it got scrapped. He was just pushed so hard. It was weird to me to see Digimon World 3 be sold on the back of Bearmon, and then him really only feature prominently in that, and then some kind of cameos in anime. I think it's really good now that he's a partner in Rear Eyes, but hopefully that is now an indication that we can see more of him, and eventually he will become the partner that he deserves to be. Alright, second to last entry on the list, and of course, it's FanBeemon. Dun dun dun! I know, my ideal partner Digimon isn't number one. Crazy. And I want to say it's because I think number one is a better pick, and I do think that. But mainly it's because if someone else gets FanBeemon as their partner, then I don't get to be the person that wants FanBeemon as my partner. I don't get to be special. But no, FanBeemon has to rank highly on this list. It's a fantastic insect Digimon. It would fit in perfectly alongside Digimon like Tentomon in that kind of gallery of insect Digimon. It digivolves into some truly phenomenally fierce Digimon, Waspmon, Cannonbeemon, and then the awesome Tiger Vespamon. It would make endless sense for me that an Izzy type of tamer would be partnered with a FanBeemon in the anime, or maybe even switch it up a little bit, have like a bug-phobic girl get a FanBeemon and learn to love it, and command this hugely powerful line of Wasp Digimon, or B/Wasp Digimon. I could harp on for hours about how much I love FanBeemon. Its entire line is so beautiful. I talked about it more in my top 10 Digivolution lines video, which you can check out in the card above now, but suffice to say, its appearance in Digimon Adventure 2020 was huge for me, and I really hope this isn't the last. Again, my ideal thing with this list would be if a bunch of them off this list got put into a brand new season of the anime with like 8 to 10 Digidestined. That would be beautiful. Bring on the FanBeemon revolution. I hope to see him as a partner soon. And finally, number one on our list, who has shot up from a Digimon that I didn't even really know about until this year, right up to a Digimon who is in my top 5 Digimon of all time, and that is Blucomon. Blucomon is like a rags to riches story, designed in a spin-off mobile game to getting a prominent appearance in VPET, in the Digimon VB, and now probably the Digimon card game. Hexablaumon at the time of recording has been confirmed to be in BT5, which almost definitely means we're getting the full Blucomon line in BT5 of the Digimon card game. And it could not go to a better Digimon. He is so perfect and he deserves the love he gets. It's really cool to me to see an ice type dragon Digimon get such a push, become kind of like a mascot Digimon, at least a mascot for that app, and hopefully get pushed further. There has been a trend, unfortunately, in Digimon for the main character, the main tamer, to have a fire-based Digimon. Tai, Vmon with Flamedramon, obviously X-Vmon's more dragon than fire, but Flamedramon's pretty prominent there. Guilmon, Agnimon, Agumon, Shoutmon to some degree. Not really an Appmon, but then obviously back to Agumon in the 2020 anime. I think it would be a lovely switch up if the protagonist Digimon was more like a secondary, like a Gabumon, and had a lot of ice-based powers, and I think the merging of ice with dragon would be so good. You could pull a Davis again and have the tamer maybe pull on the traits of the crests of friendship and courage to combine that kind of dragonic and ice elements. Blucomon has just such a wonderful design. Again, there are not the Digimon that you can easily confuse this with. It really stands out. I feel like existing fans would really latch onto it if they knew more about it, and kids and new fans coming to the franchise would really bond with this Digimon. And from there, again, its Digivolution line is phenomenal, digivolving from Paildramon into Chris Paildramon and finally Hexablaumon. But yeah, Paildramon is just such a good champion. It's a lot smaller than other champions. It feels a lot more like Rookie 2 rather than full-on champion. But then Chris Paildramon and then Hexablaumon is so cool. A wonderful design that is evocative of past megas. You know, there's a little bit of Imperialdramon there, there's a little bit of other Royal Knights, but it feels wholly original at the same time. And I would just love to see this thing flying around and fighting in the anime. While Wormmon and FanBeemon are probably my favorite Digimon, Blucomon is high up there now, and I think of any of the Digimon, he really deserves this place in the sun. Although maybe not in the sun because he might melt. He deserves the spotlight. Oh god, will Spotlight melt him too? What I'm trying to say is Blucomon needs more love, and I think if we're not just continuing with reboots going forward, a season of the anime featuring Blucomon would be wonderful. He would fit in so well into that role, and I'd really like to see Blucomon, even if it's not in anime, if it's in manga or video games, get an opportunity to emote and express himself, because I think there's a lot of potential heart and soul to this character, but obviously in the limited exposure we've had to him, that being 1 mobile game, 2 VPETs, and now the card game, we haven't really seen that personality come out. There's this piece of art that the Digimon web posted, which shows off his fun, mischievous side, his playful side, and that's such a good glimpse into what I think Blucomon could be. And that is why ultimately I think he is the #1 Digimon who deserves to be a partner. But anyway, that's just my list. Let me know down below who you think deserves to be a partner Digimon. Is it a rookie, a champion, a full line? Let me know down below. As always, liking and subscribing helps a whole bunch. We're nearing 10,000 subs. We're nearly there. I cannot believe it. You guys are doing amazing. So if you are one of this percentage of people who is watching but not subscribed, change that right now. You've just watched the whole video. You may as well. I hear if you subscribe, you'll get your own Digimon partner. That's just a true thing that happens. If you subscribe to me, I can't legally prove that, but I've heard that if you subscribe to Carney X, you get your own Digimon partner. Pretty cool. And as always, huge shouts out to my channel members. You can become a channel member below this video if you want to for a bunch of perks, including early access to videos. My Digi-Destined level channel member Anthony Bontomasi, my Tamer level members Carlos Gonzalez, Tippy, Crimson Dragon Slayer, Nikolai Slente, and all of the Khan Club. You guys are holding it down. Thank you all so much. And until next time, I will see you when we go digital and when I get my camera back.